A very good afternoon, dear students. I formally welcome you all to the last semester. And the paper that I'm supposed to deal with you is American drama, right? And in today's tutorial, I will be discussing with you what is American drama, a background of the American drama in the sense that uh, how did the American drama came into existence, what the term is all about, and what have been the trends as far as American drama is concerned. Okay, so first of all, let us talk about the term, what American drama is. Can there be a specific definition, or can we say that there are certain dramatists, say for example, you have uh, Eugene O'Neill. That is, I'm talking about the playwrights who are prescribed in your course. You have O'Neill, you have Edward Albee, you have Arthur Miller, and you have Tennessee Williams. So they are the greatest dramatist, American dramatist, I would say, right? Now, as far as their works are concerned, I just picked up the most important ones as they are prescribed in your course. Now, as far as their works are concerned, you can see that their works display some kind of common features, right? They deal about certain things. Let me mention realism since I have asked you to write about it. They talk about the reality aspect of the society or of the human psychology as such. Almost all these writers. So, these common features, they can be clubbed together having the same trends, and they can be called as, their works can be called as American drama. Okay, so what you have to remember is that the works of the playwrights that display many of the common features, and these features, these dramatists, they follow a particular trend which can be clubbed together in the form of American drama. Now, it says what modern American drama is about. I have just told in my words what, according to me, what I've been able to conclude what American drama is all about. So, here it says that it is a title used to define some of America's most influential dramatic work throughout the 20th century, right? The sweeping economical, political, social, and cultural changes that occurred in America began this era of writing and influenced authors such as Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams, Albee O'Neill to write some of the influential plays that are still widely known today. Uh, the point that I'm trying to make here will be very clear to you once we are done with these all these works. Very clearly, you can combine or you can work out what we call come out with a conclusion that almost all these popular dramatists, they talk about or they focus on particular aspects, right, which I've mentioned ahead. One could suggest that it is not just because they are written by or are about Americans, or they comment on its social changes, but it is also the idea, right? Please focus on this thing. It is also the idea that all these dramas have distinct features, the common features that I was telling you. And like, what are those? Language, themes, style, characters, and structure of similarity to each other that allow them to be placed under the title modern American drama. Now, it is, you may find that why ma'am is focusing so much on this, you must at least be able in a be in a position to answer if somebody asks you what is modern American drama, where does the term come from, or what falls into the category of American drama. Okay, that is why I'm just giving you a little introduction about it. So, it is these features that heighten each author's critical comments on American society at the time of writing. Modern American drama could be seen as literary work that comments on author's view of ever-changing country and American dream using particular trends of features or the common features. Basically, you can keep that in mind. They talk of realism, they talk of human psychology, what is going at in the minds and the hearts of the humans, or let us say a very common theme of almost all these writers. You will find, of course, realism, of course, expressionism, naturalism, symbolism, so many things. But then the autobiographical element is so profound in almost all of their works that you can very easily connect to them. You can very easily understand when I'm saying the trends, common trends or common features of American drama. Okay, yeah, and yes, of course, this is very, very significant. American dream, what it means, that person wants to get everything, and it is very obvious that at the end of the day, they turn out to be a failure. That is what American Dream is all about. We'll be discussing about this in detail in the play, Arthur Miller's play. Okay. Now, the father of American drama is William Dunlop, and I'll elaborate upon how the fact he came to be the father of American drama. So, to understand this, what did we do? The first thing is we talked about modern American drama, and next we will talk about the growth or what have been the trends as far as American drama is concerned. Now, American drama has undergone various stages. There is this first, on the basis of the centuries, in the 1800s, the drama was theatrical and there were sentimental shows. It was more of a melodrama where, since these were the times of wars that were taking place in America, there were plays which were based on nationality, which were based on uh, loyalty, all these things. Next is 1920s, in the century, this century, in the 1920s, in this year, I would say, there was the influence of European realism. And I say European, the Greek influences on the writers of American drama. Let me not say writers of America, but writers of American drama. In the 20th century came your new level of realism and psychological complexity, and the present one, generally 1916 or 60s, 1960. That period onwards to the present and is known as your contemporary period of American drama. And this particular period was a revolt against realism, and which was titled as expressionistic drama, right? So let us, I will not go into much details, but I'll just give you little information which can add to your knowledge, whether you are appearing for your net exam or not. At least these basics you must know. Now, early American drama. The American company managed by David Douglas, who started the first professional company to produce plays in the American colonies. And the first production or the first play was The Prince of Parthia in 1767 in Philadelphia, and it was written by Thomas Godfrey. So the first American drama was The Prince of Parthia, written by Thomas Godfrey. First actual theater was built in Williamsburg, Virginia in 1716, but now there is no trace that is left of it, right? And the first comedy, American comedy, which was a professional success, was The Contrast, and it was written by Royal Tyler. Now, the first theater, that is Williamsburg. I came across a picture of this, the first theater in the colonies to open for business in Williamsburg, Virginia. So just sharing it with you. And this is the Williamsburg Theater. Next, the first play to treat a native subject was was written by Robert Rogers in 1766, and the title was The Savages of America. Next was the drama that was written during the Revolution and the post-revolutionary period to 1800. What was there in this period? The plays were reflecting patriotic views during the Revolution, and there were plays that were reflecting loyalist views during the Revolution. I told you about this already, right? Nationalistic, patriotic, and loyalistic. Loyal obviously to the ruling king, right? Now, as I told you, the father of American drama, William Dunlop, he was a theater manager and the first American professional playwright, dominating the American stage at the end of 18th century with patriotic plays on American subjects. That is why he is known as the father of American drama. Then, during the 19th century, melodramas with exemplary democratic figures and clear contrasts between good and evil have been popular. Now, before the great ones came, the main scenario that the American drama showed was more of a melodramatic theater, I would say. Okay. Plays about social problems such as slavery also drew large audiences. Sometimes these plays were adaptations of novels like Uncle Tom's Cabin. Not until the 20th century would serious plays attempt aesthetic innovation. I hope we all know what aesthetic is now. Now, beginning in the 1920s, the American theater became innovative and experimental. So, how we have divided the stages of development of American drama is, first we have discussed the 18th century, right? 1800, 19th century, let me say. And then we talk of the 1920s, where we have read or where we are focusing on the European influences. Now, the slice of life, you can very well correlate when I say the slice of life realism of three late 19th century European playwrights had a profound influence on American drama. And who were these European dramatists? They were Ibsen, who depicted unsettling subjects such as guilt, sexuality, mental illness. Then there was Strindberg, who brought unprecedented level of psychological complexity to his characterizations, and Russian writer Anton Chekhov. So, Norwegian Henrik Ibsen, Swedish August Strindberg, and Russian Anton Chekhov, along with Ibsen and Strindberg, shifted the subject matter of drama to inner actions. That is what realism is about, and emotions and the concerns of everyday life. So, this is the 1920s European influence. Third stage was your 20th century realistic drama. Now, as you'll find at places, I have not fiddled with it. I've just used it as it is. So that's why it's over here using inverted. Realistic drama is based on the illusion that at a play we are watching life through a wall. That has been removed so that we can see the action. We are delving deep into the minds of the characters, or let me see, the actors that we are seeing on the stage. Okay, that is what we mean by the 20th century realistic drama. Now, as far as technical definition of stage realism is concerned, it is stage realism is use of ordinary people in ordinary settings using commonplace dialect. Now, this is the most important aspect as far as realism is concerned. Common people, common settings, common problems, and most important is the commonplace dialect, the use of the vernacular. That is the most important aspect as far as realism is concerned. The stage props represent a camera photograph. Now, particularly, this is about stage realism, so I've added this. Realistic plays show aspects of real people playing out conflicts and intrigues which reflect their ordinary experiences of American middle class life. I think you can very well correlate now. Recognizable heroes and villains were replaced with ordinary characters showing ordinary strengths and weaknesses. Now, over here, you will have to correlate to what, say, for example, is the definition of tragedy as far as Aristotle is concerned. He said that it is tragedy belongs to a person who belongs to a higher strata in the society and who suffers because of his own whims or because of his own thoughts, right? Over here, when we be studying realistic tragedy, right? It is altogether different. Realistic plays, realistic tragedies are altogether different. You can correlate to them, you can recognize them, you can understand them so very well. Okay, that is what it means here. That recognizable heroes, they have been replaced by ordinary characters who show ordinary strengths and weaknesses. The replacement of gaslight by electricity helped in the creation of realistic ambience. Now, in this connection, I would also like to add there are certain adaptations of the plays that are prescribed in our course. Okay, and I will give you the names of the directors because some of these adaptations are what was outrightly done on the stage, and you will not think that you're watching a movie or a or what should I say, a play being staged, right? But you will really connect to the feelings, to the emotions, to the psyche of the characters. That is how the stage realism is used in most of the adaptations of all the four plays. Next, key figures as far as realism is concerned are writers itself. O'Neill was this 1988 to 1953. He dominated American drama in his generation. I will deal with it in detail when I introduce the writer to you. Arthur Miller, master of realism, and he explored social as well as psychological truths in his plays. Tennessee Williams, he blended realism with imagination and focused on personal rather than social themes. Another aspect is naturalism, which we study when we talk of 20th century realism. Now, these terms, they are said to be interchangeable. A commonly interchangeable term with realism, naturalism assumes that humans are controlled by their environment, by their fate, psychology, chance, or coincidence. Realistic characters are in control of their destinies. Naturalistic situations are generally pessimistic and deterministic. I have not read all of yours submissions on these terms, but I really a very good example came to my mind is the Wuthering, not the, but Wuthering Heights. Very easily you can correlate to the definition that is given over here. Though the writer of Wuthering Heights had nothing to do with this aspect, but then, how beautifully, how realistically it has been shown that life is governed by chance or coincidence. Tests also, for that matter, very good examples are there apart from American drama. So, trapped and controlled human behavior is instinctual and animalistic. There is heroism in a human's desire to survive against insurmountable odds. So, these are particular definitions that are there, and they will be, you can connect and correlate to them very well once you are done with the plays. You can very well understand what are these animalistic instincts, desires, the human desires to survive against insurmountable odds. If I have to just tell you or give you one line for this, I would say that for survival, a human or a woman, let me say, can go to any extent. Mm? That is what we will see in Desire Under the Elms also, right? And that is what it means, humans desire to survive against the insurmountable odds. Next ism over here is expressionism, which is again a revolt. It is a drama which began as a revolt against realism. It emphasized on stage effects and imaginative settings. Now, you are not supposed to get confused with it. From here begins your contemporary times, 1960s, okay? Naturalism, realism, it belonged to the, let us say, the period prior to the 1960s, or you can say the 20th century, right? And when we talk of contemporary drama is expressionistic to the core, right? That is what expressionism is all about, or the contemporary American drama is all about. It emphasized on stage effects and imaginative settings. It focused on revealing characters' interior consciousness. Now, there is a very thin line when you try to make a difference between the characters, what they are going through in the Desire Under the Elms, or when I talk of an absurd play by Tennessee Williams, or not Tennessee, yeah, Tennessee Williams, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, right? Uh, that absurdity which you see here is not present when you study the realms of human psychology. Okay, here what is happening, the character's inner consciousness is being revealed. Then it reflected expressionism, it reflected a sense that life is formless and uncertain. In this sense, illusion versus reality also becomes a important aspect as far as American drama is concerned, which again falls into the category of realism also and expressionism also. In expressionistic plays, the playwright's subjective sense of reality finds expression, his own self. When I say subjective, it's the person's self. Objective, what the other person thinks about. Okay, here the playwright's subjective sense is being focused on. The characters and the milieu may be realistic, but their presentation on stage is controlled by writers' personal biases and inclinations. More like a drama, expressionistic writing has no plot, recognizable plot, conflicts, and character developments. Many writers who used expressionistic techniques came to be called playwrights of the theater of the absurd. So, this is something which um, came forth towards the 21st century, the new category of drama, that is the theater of the absurd. The most significant absurdist in the United States has been Albee, Edward Albee. The Zoo Story in 1959, The American Dream in 1961, they are absurdist plays. And of course, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which we will be studying, is again outrightly absurd play, right? And this play is what made Albee a famous playwright, a famous American playwright. Okay, so these are the four categories of the growth of American drama, and I hope things would be clear. You need not complicate things. You, after hearing this, you'll be in a position to deal with, or to understand what American drama is and what have been the stages of growth of American drama. Okay. Um, don't forget to make your notes out of this. It will be really really helpful for you. as far as your competitive exams are concerned. And last thing, I will be also sharing a detailed PDF, with you on American drama. So read it. You don't have to learn everything, but just read it. Okay. So I hope I've been able to make my point. That's all. See you in the next video. Thank you so much.